Here's Justified Season 2, Episode 5, titled Cottonmouth. Interesting, very interesting episode. Doing things because that's who you are. It's one of the continuing themes of Justified. Boyd decides to rob the mine payroll with guys because it's what his life's instinct tell him to do. And Ava asks him in the end, why did you do this? He goes, because it's who I am. When they asked me to help rob the bank with them, my instinct was, okay, that's what I'll do. I'll rob the bank because that's how I was brought up. That's the environment I come from. And that's who I am in a very general sense. And so, but Boyd tried to play a different angle at this. Like, he basically, what he does is that he kills all the bad guys who helped him rob the bank, and with a bomb, and he saves the mine guy and doesn't kill him because Boyd is trying to do good. But at the same time, Boyd gets away with it and makes some money in the process and still keeps his job in the process because Boyd is Boyd. Like, he's still the bad guy, but he's trying to do good, and the more good he's getting a little smarter, I guess. Raylan, who basically, going back to the theme, doing things that because that's who you are, Raylan must hunt. Raylan needs to be a hunter. He needs to track down bad guys because if Raylan stops and thinks and processes who he is, he might not like himself that much, or he probably doesn't like himself that much, so he needs to keep on tracking down bad guys. He needs to have that animal kind of like mentality, that survivor's instinct in him. So he's opened up the bee's nest with the Randall family. He wants the Randall family because he knows they're bad news. The mama smashes his son's left hand, not the right hand, so he can still shoot because he did wrong. And how he did wrong is he got caught. And in these kind of worlds, like I come from the similar environment where there's two things there's two things that you can't do. There's two things that are bad. The two worst things in life are ratting somebody out, and getting caught. Don't do those two things. If you do everything but those two things, your life is going to be okay in certain environments. The 14-year-old girl, she's learning to survive within her world that she's living. She's being brought up in Raylan's world. So we're understanding how Raylan kind of grew up being in this kind of dysfunctional world. That's all we're trying to do, though. When we're growing up, it's all we're trying to do. We're trying to live and survive in the world that's brought up for us, and we become who we are because of the environment that we're brought up in. That's who we are. So you can go in Raylan's avenue and become a good lawman, but still he's got issues, and still that he's obsessed with taking down bad guys. That's how he learned how to survive. You do Boyd, where basically Boyd's trying to be a good guy, but he can't be a good guy totally because the stripes are already formed. He is that guy who needs to be a criminal. So we're going to learn more in this episode. That is my review.